one of the best-selling small cars in Britain, the Vauxhall Corsa was thoroughly overhauled at the end of 2014 so that it's in a better position to take on the likes of the Ford Fiesta, the Renault Clio and the Volkswagen Polo. Yes, you read that right, this is a significant makeover of the previous Corsa and not an all-new model. It's more than just a facelift though, as all body panels barring the roof are new, and while the underpinnings remain based on the previous generations, they've been considerably revised. Raft of upgrades. The biggest visual changes for this generation Corsa are found at the front, where the nose is longer and more expressive, with distinctive new headlights and a lower, wider grille. It's no accident that it shares a very close resemblance to the Vauxhall Atom, the Corsa's more fashion-focused sibling. Climb inside, and the Atom theme continues with a much improved dashboard featuring soft-touch plastics for the upper molding, more technology. Almost every version benefits from the IntelliLink multimedia package, but essentially the same amount of space as before, as the fundamental cabin dimensions are carried over. It's the side profile where this and the previous Corsa iterations look most similar, as the windows continue into this generation. The more coupe-like glass outline of the three-door is slightly extended by a glossy applique just behind the rearmost side window. New look for the five-door Corsa. The five doors makeover is more clever, with metalwork that curves upwards on the outside of the rear door to frame the glass differently. Inside it's less convincing, with black foil stuck to the glass instead of the interior door panel mirroring the exterior. At the back, the rear ends of both 3 and 5-door Corsas are brought into line with identical treatment, featuring horizontal tail lights and a large Vauxhall badge that stands proud of the tailgate, doubling as a release handle for the hatch. It drives significantly better than before too, riding more pliantly on comfort suspension models, but at times with too much firmness on those with the sports setup. Refreshed petrol engines under the re-profiled front of the latest Corsa is a combination of improved and all-new engines, the focus being efficiency rather than high performance. None of the range completes the 0 to 62 mph acceleration in less than 10 seconds, save for the red and black editions and the flagship Corsa VXR introduced in spring 2015. VXR aside, the headline-grabbing engine is the new 3-cylinder 1.0-litre turbocharged petrol, in 90 horsepower and 115 horsepower outputs. We were particularly impressed by its refinement and balance between speed and efficiency. It's also quieter than Ford's similarly sized EcoBoost engine. Depending on wheel size, the lower-powered version of the two units boasts claims up to 65.7 miles per gallon and 100 grams/km of CO2. Upgraded diesels and powerful VXR. It's not the most efficient Corsa though. That honor still belongs to the 1.3-litre D diesels in 75 horsepower and 95 horsepower forms, where Vauxhall claims as high as 88.3 miles per gallon, resulting in CO2 emissions of 85 grams/km. There's plenty of performance on tap with the Corsa VXR, thanks to its 206 horsepower 1.6-litre turbo engine. Top speed is 143 miles per hour. While it will scorch from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds. Depending on trim, other engines include a 70 horsepower 1.2-litre petrol, which was dropped in 2016, and 3 versions of the 1.4-litre delivering 75 horsepower, 90 horsepower, 100 horsepower and 150 horsepower. That 90 horsepower version is also available with options of a conventional automatic and an improved version of the robotized manual that changes gears automatically, called EasyTronic. All other Corsas have 5 or 6-speed manual gearboxes. Broad range and packed with equipment. Vauxhall's attempted to simplify the outgoing Corsa's range, but it still ended up with 11 trim levels by the middle of 2016. All of them are well equipped compared with rivals. An electrically heated windscreen and cruise control are standard on all versions. Every Corsa barring the entry-level Sting and Stinger has LED running lights, in Vauxhall's signature wing formation. Best of all, model for model it's less expensive than its predecessor. The verdict: it's easy to overlook the Vauxhall Corsa, especially compared with the younger Ford Fiesta, Seat Ibiza or Volkswagen Polo, but it's still a superb choice in the small hatchback market. It's good to drive, finely honed, and is available in a wide range of trims and specs to suit most needs. The top-of-the-line VXR model is an acquired taste, and hard to rationally justify, but the rest of the range is competent and still very much worth recommendation. Stick with one of the small petrol engines, and you can't go far wrong. Is this host of well-judged revisions going to be enough to bring it close to the leaders of the small car park? Read full new Vauxhall Corsa review to find out. Smooth revving 1.0 litre is a gem non-turbo 1.4 petrol's a slow VXR out-accelerates the Fiesta ST. An overhauled range of petrol and diesel engines includes a fine, new 3-cylinder motor and is headed by a 206 horsepower unit for the VXR, but overall performance in the Vauxhall Corsa lineup comes second to efficiency. Revised petrol range. Unless you cover significantly high mileages, petrol engines tend to suit smaller cars better than diesels, hence why there are so many of them to choose from. Most interesting is the 3-cylinder, 1.0 litre turbo available in 90 horsepower and 115 horsepower forms, both producing 170 Nm from 1,800 revolutions per minute. It's a refined and relatively hushed engine, making a far less intrusive engine note than Ford's 1.0 litre EcoBoost does in the Fiesta, but performance is adequate rather than sporty. Opt for the 90 horsepower version and you'll see a top speed of 112 miles per hour. Accelerating from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 11.9 seconds. The 115 horsepower edition generates figures of 121 miles per hour in 10.3 seconds. With standard start, stop function and other EcoFlex fuel-saving measures, together with a 6-speed manual gearbox, fuel efficiency is rated between 62.8 miles per gallon and 65.7 miles per gallon for the 90 horsepower version and 56.5 miles per gallon and 57.6 miles per gallon for the 115 horsepower model, depending upon wheel size and number of doors, resulting in CO2 emissions between 100 grams/km and 117 grams/km. The turbocharged 1.4 litre motor produces 100 horsepower but more torque at 200 Nm from 1,850 revolutions per minute, delivering a 115 miles per hour top speed and an 11-second time for the 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration test. Wheel size and body style. Impact upon efficiency. Vauxhall claims between 54.3 miles per gallon and 55.4 miles per gallon, with CO2 output ranging from 119 grams/km to 123 grams/km. A 5-speed manual transmission is standard. Available only with the red and black edition trim is a 150 horsepower version of the 1.4 litre turbo, delivering a top speed of 129 miles per hour and completing the 0 to 62 miles per hour run in 8.9 seconds. Efficiency is officially rated at between 48.7 miles per gallon and 49.6 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions quoted at 132 to 133 grams/km. Completing the petrol lineup are naturally aspirated 1.4 litre units, with 75 horsepower and 90 horsepower respectively, the lower-powered version replacing the previously available to 1.2 litre with 70 horsepower in spring 2016. The 75 horsepower derivative is the slowest of the Corsas, trundling up to 101 miles per hour and taking a leisurely 15.5 seconds to complete the 0 to 62 miles per hour test. With its 5-speed manual gearbox, efficiency is rated between 54.3 miles per gallon and 55.4 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions of 118 to 120 grams/km. There's more variation with the 1.4 litre though. Its standard 5-speed manual gearbox can be optionally replaced with either a self-shifting robotized Easytronic 5-speed manual, or a new 6-speed conventional automatic transmission. Top speed for the manual and Easytronic is 109 miles per hour, while the automatics is 106 miles per hour. Accelerating from a standstill to 62 miles per hour takes 13.2 seconds in the manual, 13.9 seconds with the other gearboxes. Wheel size and body style again have an effect on efficiency on the 1.4 litre Corsa. Manual versions post figures of 54.3 miles per gallon to 55.4 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions of 119 grams/km to 122 grams/km, beaten by the Easytronic, 58.9 to 60.1 miles per gallon, 110 to 112 grams/km, but outperforming the automatic models, 47.1 to 47.9 miles per gallon, 139 to 140 grams/km. Duo of diesels. If you cover the sort of mileage that requires a diesel, there are two improved versions of the 1.3 litre T, producing 75 horsepower and 95 horsepower. Both motors are fitted with the 5-speed manual gearbox, EcoFlex braking, energy recovery and start-stop functions. choose the lower powered diesel and your top speed potential is curbed at 102 miles per hour, going from 0 to 62 miles per hour in a pedestrian 14.8 seconds. The 94 bhp engine manages 113 miles per hour in 11.9 seconds. As is a theme on the Corsa, wheel size and body style vary the claimed efficiency results. The 75 horsepower posts figures of 74.3 miles per gallon to 76.3 miles per gallon, with CO2 emissions of 99 grams/km to 100 grams/km, but these are bested by the 95 horsepower version, 83.1 to 88.3 miles per gallon, 85 to 89 grams/km CO2. Rapid Corsa VXR flagship. Despite the performance pack's name, on paper the Vauxhall Corsa VXR's speed is the same whether or not you have it fitted. The numbers say it'll cover 0 to 62 miles per hour in 6.5 seconds, which is very quick considering the price of the car, and top speed is an impressive 143 miles per hour, but numbers mean little without perspective, and Vauxhall would be the first to boast that this car is slightly quicker to accelerate from 0 to 62 miles per hour than its main rival, the Ford Fiesta Street. Even better is how great it sounds with its Remus exhaust. The aftermarket specialist firm has built a system which reduces back pressure for better performance, but it sounds great too, especially with the performance pack fitted. The turbocharged 1.6-litre is smooth, versatile and refined, though we did find we had to wait a little longer than the figures suggest for the full 280 Nm of torque. Vauxhall claims it's available from just 1,900 revolutions per minute, but in the higher gears you'll have to wait until at least 2,500 revolutions per minute for something to happen. Even then it's only available for 5 seconds on overboost. Still, it does feel as though it's got the full 206 horsepower and 245 Nm the firm claims during normal driving. It's a good job too, since there's another aspect to this car's performance that feels brilliant: the gear change. A conventional enough 6-speed manual box, the VXR has been given a heavily revised, short-shifting lever which is an absolute joy to use. Much improved driver involvement, more accurate steering across the range. Sportier models feature stiffer suspension. Previous editions of Vauxhall's Corsa haven't been blessed with the most engaging of driving experiences, so to report positively on the current model's handling traits is a welcome change. Although this Corsa is based on the old car's underpinnings, the suspension has been thoroughly improved. This means it not only rides with greater compliance, particularly models with 16-inch wheels or smaller, but it also feels noticeably more nimble and precise in the way it changes direction. The center of gravity lowered by 5 mm has a positive effect, particularly in combination with the stiffer underbody and more accurate electric power steering, tuned specifically for the UK's rougher roads. Sports chassis is stiffer with more direct steering. Corsas riding on 17-inch wheels have a stiffer suspension arrangement, as well as a retuned, more direct steering setup. Combined with the more powerful 1.0-litre engine, it makes a good attempt at being fun to drive, cornering flatly as winding B roads are tackled with enthusiasm, yet remaining positively compliant around town. Where this setup seems to fall down is over undulating surfaces at higher speeds, where the Corsa's composure is lost, the body control feeling like it's still dealing with the previous bump as you hit the next one. You can forgive this more when the Corsa's a slightly faster one, but combine the stiffer suspension with a less powerful engine and the combination isn't alluring. Under heavier braking over such road surfaces, you're conscious that the car has a tendency to skip over the dips in the undulations, making the Corsa feel a little unstable. Performance pack transforms Corsa VXR. We couldn't review this aspect of the VXR without first mentioning that it's a game of two cars, the standard one and the optional performance pack equipped version. As a standard car with no optional extras, it would be difficult for us to call the Corsa VXR's handling anything other than above average. Its steering has a decent enough weighting to it, but the lack of a clever front differential means the inside wheel spins up on the exit of corners, and that's about it. This VXR also doesn't change direction in a sprightlier manner because it sits slightly higher with softer settings in the dampers, so there's a modicum of extra body roll there. Its suspension is a clever system which Vauxhall claims regulates itself, using a valve system to instantly adjust the car's firmness based on the road conditions you're driving on. In simple terms, the damper decides how soft or firm the car needs to be. It's a system which works pretty well, but is best forgotten about really since the driver has no control over it. You'll probably never be able to detect the difference between the two unless you're testing in a lab environment, but it's worth noting that on a standard VXR there's a noticeably more comfortable ride when driving slowly. To really make it a rival for the cream of the crop in this class, namely the Ford Fiesta ST and the Peugeot 208 GTI by Peugeot Sport, you're going to need to install the Performance Pack. Very firm ride with Performance Pack available from new only as a factory-fitted extra. The Vauxhall Corsa VXR with Performance Pack is an entirely different thing. Forget any semblance of ride comfort, the clever adaptive dampers from specialists Koni make no apologies here. The suspension springs allow the car to sit 10 mm lower than the previous generation of this car, but also get retuned for a harder setting which eliminates most body roll. Instead you get a car that changes direction impressively while boasting very impressive traction thanks to the clever limited slip differential. This latter feature, built by specialists Drexler, is a huge part of the Hot Corsa's appeal. It utterly transforms the handling, offering a level of driver engagement that few in this sector can rival. Simply get the car turned in and put the power down, you'll be astonished at the purchase you're afforded, even on wet and greasy roads. The steering is a nicely set up system too, feeling direct and accurate but also well weighted for enthusiastic driving. Special mention here goes to the steering wheel, which is sculpted to make it easier to keep the driver's hands in the correct position. Latest dashboard feels high-quality logical layout with decent switchgear, plenty of driving position adjustment, while similarities between previous and this generation of Corsa are obvious inside and out despite the makeover. The all-new dashboard does much to lift the ambience inside the Vauxhall. It's a significant quality jump from the harder, unappealing plastics of its predecessor, to this one with lots of glossy black surfaces and a squidgy soft touch molding for the top of the dashboard. Not only does it feel more premium, it's better built and suppresses noise more effectively too. Some of the switchgear is carried over from other Vauxhalls, including the thick, cylindrical steering column ones for wipers and indicators, but there's a pleasing action to most of the buttons and controls. Particularly easy to use is the 7-inch IntelliLink multimedia color touchscreen, fitted to energy models and above. Its clear graphics and responsive interface make it simple to use on the move, as well as providing a USB audio connection and Bluetooth syncing for phone and streaming purposes, but why the screen has to go black when the volume's adjusted is as distracting as it is baffling. Optimizing your driving comfort is a doddle, with a height adjustable driver's seat fitted to all Corsas, as are a steering wheel adjustable for reach and angle and electric door mirrors. Forward visibility is good, aided by the small triangular windows ahead of the front doors, while rearward vision can be improved with the optional reversing camera, standard on Elite, and parking sensors. Standard suspension is the best setup. Sports suspension lacks compliance at speed. Performance Pack VXR is rock hard. Stick with models riding on 16-inch wheels or smaller, and the improvements in Vauxhall Corsa comfort levels are impressive. It remains a very easy car to drive, but with superior bump and rut absorption than before, as well as a lighter, more direct electric power steering system, which can be lightened even further to improve urban nimbleness. Overall, it feels a plusher environment to spend time in, with lots of equipment and higher grade materials used throughout the cabin, although its dimensions are carried over from before. How much room is there in a Vauxhall Corsa? This isn't such a bad thing, as the outgoing Corsa was a spacious small car, meaning two 6-footers should be able to relax in reasonable room behind front seat occupants of a similar height. Squeezing a fifth person in the center rear seat is less bearable. Finding a suitable driving position is easy. All models have a height adjustable driver's seat and a steering column adjustable for both angle and distance. Visibility is good too, the Corsa's large glass area continuing from before. All models barring the Sting and Stinger have aircon as standard, while climate control is optionally available on the limited edition and above, and standard on the Elite. Compromised comfort with bigger wheels. Infotainment is boosted with the energy models onwards, complete with Vauxhall's IntelliLink touchscreen. The graphics are clear and responsive. Bluetooth connectivity is useful too, but we didn't like how when you adjust the volume the whole screen goes black save for the white numbers, a bit distracting in your peripheral vision when using the steering wheel controls. Comfort is also compromised on Elite, Limited Edition, Red and Black Editions and 3VX line models with their 17-inch alloy wheels and the sports suspension settings that come with them. It's noticeably stiffer, but still compliant, around town, yet on rougher surface roads at higher speeds the firmness can become tiresome. Ride comfort, not a VXR strength. With the VXR it's very much a game of two halves. If you're after a hot hatch with a more cosseting ride than a Ford Fiesta ST or a Renault Sport Clio 200, this is it. We found it relatively quiet in the cabin and the engine, while sounding a little hard-worked at the top of the rev range, never drones on irritatingly. The Recaro seats are particularly good. It's a firm noted for its motorsport-derived seating, and these ones are very supportive, if not the last word in soft, sofa-like luxury. However, if you're looking for a hot hatch with a bone-jarring chassis, loads of road noise, a loud exhaust and brilliant handling, this is it too, once you've specced the performance pack. The combination of large wheels, sticky high-performance tires and lowered suspension isn't a comfortable car in its fastest and best handling form. That differential doesn't help here either, because it has a tendency to tug at the steering wheel when cornering, so it's a constant battle. Sure, this helps it to handle well, but it's not the most relaxing experience. 11 trim levels in total from Sting to VXR all feature heated windscreens and cruise control, lots of variation including Luxury Elite from 2016. Despite claiming to have simplified the range, by summer 2016 the Corsa range had expanded to 11 trim levels: Sting, Sting R, Energy, Limited Edition, Red, Black Edition, Design, Say, Elite, Sri VX Line and VXR. Standard Vauxhall Corsa equipment. Regardless of trim, all Corsas come with a wealth of standard equipment, including a very useful electrically heated windscreen, Bluetooth and ON connectivity, hill start assist, cruise control, and electrically adjustable door mirrors. You also get 6 airbags, audio controls on the steering wheel, which incidentally is adjustable for each and rake, and a lighter city mode steering function. Opt for the slightly sporty looking Sting model, and in addition to the above you'll find body colored door handles, twin white body stripes with matching white door mirror housings and grille bar, 16-inch alloy wheels, also in white, and black foil on the door pillars. You can build upon this specification with the 3-door only Sting R. The Sting's white stripes and detailing are finished in black instead, plus there's a flat-bottomed VX Line sports steering wheel, knob, and sportier pedals, plus a chrome effect exhaust and sports suspension. Slightly plainer is the Energy trim, which builds on the standard trim, adding normal 16-inch alloys, LED daytime running lights, aircon, front fog lights, the IntelliLink audio system with DAB radio, and USB connection with iPod control, automatic lights and windscreen wipers, and body color door handles. Helping you get going in the winter are heated door mirrors, steering wheel and front seats. Slightly confusingly, the limited edition is part of the standard range, and over the standard kit it also gains 17-inch black alloy wheels, roof, mirror housings and grille bar, complemented with a body kit, sports suspension, pedals and seats, heated door mirrors, LED day running lights, front fog lamps, aircon, trip computer and the IntelliLink multimedia system. You also get the OnStar connected services package we've covered separately. Building on this are the red and black edition cars, which are powered exclusively by the 150 horsepower 1.4-litre turbo petrol engine and add 17-inch diamond cut alloy wheels and either a flame red or carbon flash paint job. Targeting fleet buyers specifically is the role of the design specification. Over the standard spec it comes with the IntelliLink system, aircon, audio controls on the leather-wrapped steering wheel, front fog lights and 15-inch steel wheels with trims designed to look like alloys. Luxury touches begin to appear with the Say, which builds upon the design's standard equipment by adding Vauxhall OnStar, 16-inch alloy wheels, a heated steering wheel and front seats, 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat, trip computer, automatic lights and wipers, front fog lights, chrome exterior trim and parking sensors. Topping the Corsa's more prestigious side is Elite, introduced in spring 2016. It adds 17-inch wheels and sports suspension, climate control, bi-xenon headlamps, a reversing camera and rear privacy glass to the Say's kit roster. Aimed at those looking for a little more excitement is the Street trim, which adds aircon, 16-inch black alloy wheels, on the 3-door, silver on the 5, front fog lights, sports front seats and pedals, IntelliLink system, trip computer, heated door mirrors, automatic lights and wipers, LED day running lights and 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seats. Next up on the Corsa's sportier side is the Sri VX line. It boosts the Sri's kit list with 17-inch alloy wheels with the sport suspension arrangement, a beefier body kit and a chrome look exhaust pipe finisher. Flagship in terms of cost and performance is the Corsa VXR. There's a special body kit which includes a totally revised front end with that distinctive scoop below the bonnet. Side skirts make the profile more appealing, as does a set of 17-inch alloy wheels, and at the rear of the car there's that Remus exhaust system with twin tailpipes flanking a dark, diffuser-style rear bumper. The boot sports a rear spoiler which Vauxhall claims adds meaningful downforce. The VXR also sports bi-xenon headlights as standard along with LED daytime running lights, while inside there is a pair of Recaro bucket seats, a 3-spoke leather steering wheel, a special VXR instrument panel, sports pedals and aircon. Optional Vauxhall Corsa accessories. With so many models and a wealth of standard equipment anyway, options to personalize the Corsa are limited and largely constrained to items of safety equipment. Depending on the model you can specify aircon or electronic climate control for even greater temperature setting precision. Parking sensors are also available on many models, as is a reversing camera and self-parking function. Bi-xenon headlamps with cornering function can be additionally fitted, with an automatic main beam function also available. Cover a lot of motorway miles and features such as blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning and traffic sign recognition might become more appealing, while specifying forward collision warning may help reduce your insurance premiums. Most interesting, if you're a cyclist, is the inbuilt flex fix rack that slides out of the lower rear bumper, and big enough to securely hold a pair of bikes. What the Corsa doesn't offer is the degree of customization offered to customers of the smaller, more fashion-focused Atom. Rated 4 stars by EuroNCAP. Nose design absorbs impacts better. Plenty of safety kit on board to help. Vauxhall says the EuroNCAP test is more rigorous than before, which is why this Corsa has a 4-star rating compared with its predecessor's 5. Its longer nose gives better absorption of energy in the unfortunate event of a frontal accident, while each Corsa is packed with 6 airbags to further cushion the blow in the event of a crash. Further safety measures include Bluetooth connectivity for mobile phones and LED day running lights up front to ensure you're seen more easily. Front fog lights are standard on higher spec models too, with bi-xenon headlamps featuring on Elite and VXR models. Lots of safety kit in the options list. While the latest Corsa is bristling with standard equipment, much of it is to do with making life more convenient than being safety specific. If you want your small Vauxhall fitted with safety enhancing headlamps with cornering function, collision avoidance warning, blind spot warning and lane departure notifications, you'll have to tick away at the options box. One safety and convenience feature you will welcome on frosty mornings is the electrically heated windscreen, installed as standard equipment on all Corsas. It's also worth noting that with the performance pack the VXR is a lively little thing, especially on greasy roads. The differential tugs at the steering, meaning you need to be on the ball at all times. If this doesn't sound like much fun, you probably want to consider the standard car instead. The flip side is that the performance pack includes better brakes and tires, so it'll stop and grip better than standard cars. Boot space is okay despite the Corsa's age. Split rear seats not standard across the range. VXR only available as a 3-door. Small cars are never going to be vast carry-alls capable of carrying home enormous boxes of Scandinavian flatpack, but despite its carryover cabin space, Vauxhall Corsa practicality remains reasonably good. Yes, it's spacious enough for 4 adults to inhabit the interior relatively comfortably, with storage for a few odds and ends in the front door bins and within the remodeled dashboard. There were no practicality party tricks like a flip-forward front passenger seat to allow the Corsa to accept longer loads with greater ease, aside from the flex fix rack. This optional device slides out like a cassette from the rear bumper, revealing an inbuilt bike rack, complete with supplementary rear lights for visibility and legality. We were disappointed that only the higher-priced Say and Elite models come with a 60 hours 40 minutes split rear seat as standard, compromising the Corsa's flexibility. Boot space itself though is reasonable, at 285 litres with the seats up and 1050 litres with the back ones tumbled over. This compares well to the Ford Fiesta, 290 litres seats up, 974 litres folded, and Volkswagen Polo, 280 litres and 952 litres, but is trumped by the Renault Clio, 300 litres and 1146 litres.